welcome back. Now it's time for us to get into this conversation that really is important. What are we talking about? We're talking about the care of your children. Now, children lately have been raised by many things. Social media is part of them. Um, Nannies and all the crazy things have been part of them, but the effect of the screen on the growth of your child is really huge. Do you know that the screen is a contributor to even child trafficking lately, pedophilic activities and all of that? Now today we want to delve into what children see when they watch TV and the effect that has even on their behavior and all of that. And then to help us do that discussion, we have joining us via Zoom Unique Norman. She is like a child care activist, and she's been doing this for some time now, going places with her message. And she's here to actually unpack some knowledge onto us, what we should know about child care and going beyond that. Hi, Unique.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you too?
I'm alive and well.
Fantastic. It's great. So I mean, it's good to have you on the show. I've sort
Thank
of
you.
like, read quite a bit about you, and I know that you're poised for great things, for change. You challenge the norm, and it's actually an honor to have you on the show talking about all the beautiful things that we're about to, you know, um, talk about. But how's ministry? How you juggling ministry and life? How's it going all the way?
It is a lot. I used to be like really, really chunky, but now I'm small once I started it. I'm just kidding. But no, it is kind of, we wear more than one hats, right? Because not only do I run my ministry, but I also run my parents' ministry. Like I do all their video edits, I do all their conference and etc. So I just keep balance, but at the same time, I still make sure that I have my rest time. I try to
Okay.
as much as I can because you got to have wisdom. Your body is meant to rest. So I don't give out too much more in the ministry more than I have to because that's
Okay.
not wisdom,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, well, straight up, let's get into media and then advertising, using screen, mainly focusing on children, right? How
Yes. Yes.
extensive has your work been in that area? And how have you been able to, change lives? Any testimonies or anything that you can really share, even before we get into the modalities of it?
Oh, absolutely. Of course. I love your hair, by the way. I love it.
Thank you,
Yes.
girl.
So you so welcome. Yes. So basically, yes, there's several. So I do travel a lot. And speaking of ministry, so I have gone to other places, where they were too scared to share with their parents. They didn't want to talk about it. So
Hmm.
once they talk to me, or sometimes I just call it out, whatever he shows me. And then sometimes the parents don't even know. And then that's been broken, and they have the chance to like go ahead and be vocal and talk about it. And
Okay.
also, I did a specific teaching also on Clubhouse where I was exposing the pedophile symbols.
Hmm.
It had like a lot of views, but of course, Facebook they erased it, but I'm gonna put it back on there. But it was exposing, and then one of the ladies was like, you know what? I saw one of the symbols when I was watching the Disney Channel. I canceled my membership. My child will no longer be watching that channel. So
Hmm.
being vocal and being advocate and then showing demonstrations will help, with the information.
That's fantastic. I actually saw that where girls like, I mean, the pedophile symbols, child liking children, liking girls, and then liking boys. And I thought that, okay, these are like very regular things that we see on products and all of that. But take us quickly through what the difference between grooming and aging marketing, I mean, in line with this.
Yes. By the way, just so you know, pedophiles prefer online. They're not doing the hey, I'm gonna give you ice cream and candy, follow my truck. Just
Okay.
an FYI. That had changed. So grooming, which is still prevalent, grooming are in churches. Sometimes it's pastors, sometimes it's leaders. Absolutely. Sometimes this is actually a true case where they pretend like they're a member and they want to have like a youth meet and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot, and then they take some children.
Mm-hmm.
So they groom you. So, but slowly before they get to that, they play the part. Oh, you're okay. I noticed you don't have a father. Okay, I noticed that you feel like an outcast. I know that you're dealing with rejection. So let me
Okay.
offer you something. that money can't buy. Oh, okay, you like flashy clothes. Let me give you some clothing and whatnot. So inside grooming can be where they pretend like they want to be like your father figure or even mother figure. And to be honest, kids can groom other kids too because they are training kids, young to in schools, bathrooms, churches, anywhere you can go to train them how to pretend like they're their friend or pretend to be an age that they're not. And that's the grooming. Now, edging part is totally different. So how do they get you? Okay, with some kids, I know you like candy. So what are they gonna do? One of the apps they use is called Roblox.
Okay.
And what it is that it's kind of like Legos where you create you create a house, you could create it's kind of a fantasy. So what is it that it's a fantasy that's just so dislocating the kids from reality.
Okay.
So what do they do with behind these pedophiles create this little fantasy of something that kids like or teenagers like. And some kids had been groomed. There's another app called Likey. That's in I think it was founded in Singapore, I believe, where it caters to 10 to 15-year-olds. And what happened is when the kids put their information on, it automatically finds their location. So what is it? It's similar to TikTok. Okay, you like music. So I'm going to see how I can groom you into what music you like because they're pedophiles. They also call the Likey app. It's another word for that. It's pedophile paradise. Fortnite, they use apps that where you talk to your kids verbally, and it's really demonic because they actually have it to where I forgot I think his name was Mephisto, where it's a demon in hell, and if you want to get health, you want to get wealth, you have to sell your soul. And that's demonic right there. So they could get you in all kinds. So they say, you know what? I may can't get to your kids in person, but I could get to them online and find out their location. All I gotta do is flash something that kids like, and boom, I got your kid's location just like that.
Wow. Now that's really huge.
It is.
That is big. So let's get into how parents would be able to streamline when they see these things, how they'll be able to create boundaries for these kids, because you also don't want to create kids, or you don't want to raise kids that are not social people. Are you catching the flow? So how then, as a parent, do you create boundaries? How do you do it so that your kids are not too much into the life of other people, and then but they're still being nice to people?
Right, of course. So one of the apps that I mentioned was Roblox. So she noticed, and I noticed that when I was studying, all the parents said the same thing. They said it became addictive. They never seen that side of their child, which is such an addiction. So they had to cut them from the app. So when you see certain apps, find out what they're on. It's okay to be like, okay, what are you doing? You pay the bills. You could do that. It's okay. But be like, hey, what's on your app? Let me play with you. Okay, let me see what's going on. You could have parental settings that can block it to where only not all apps though. To be honest with you, no app is really safe. I'm just gonna be honest with you. No app is
Right.
really safe.
Right.
I'm just gonna let you know that right now. But what you can try to do is do the settings and tell them, all right, I'm gonna give you 2 hours for this day.
Okay.
Or I'm gonna give you 3 hours for this day. Make a rule with them. All right, you could be on it, but still teach them and make them aware what it is, so you don't just cold turkey them. Hey, the reason why I'm removing this from you is because of point A, point B. They could track you. Or I noticed with this particular app, which is Roblox, is not good. Our Fortnite is not good. I don't feel comfortable with it. It's demonic, and I'm explaining it to you in depth and why. Don't come so condemning them. We don't do that. What does it say? Don't exasperate your kids, like it says in Ephesians 6. Talk to them like normal human beings, make it conceivable, make them understand, limit their social media time. But at the same time, if you're going to limit their social media time, I advise you to get them something to replace it to make them actively busy.
I see. So would you advise maybe kids and parents time out, so the screen time is limited, and then probably in-person time is a lot more? Say a parent comes home, get to talk to their child, they spend more time talking about how was your day, what do you think about this, as compared to having too much screen time. Would you advise that?
Absolutely. I agree with that because the thing about it is with some of these parents, and I notice, especially when I talk to the youth, is that we don't need a friend. Okay.
Okay.
We don't need a friend. We need a parent. Parent first, friend second. Because when you become a friend, you lose the respect of children and parents, the respect is not there because you my friend. I don't have to follow your rules. I don't have to respect you. You're not teaching me as a parent. So I don't see you as a parent or a leader. I see you like on the same level as me because you're coming as me like a friend. So it's very important to like come to them as a parent, see what they're doing. Like you said, talk to them, communicate with them. Like my nephew, when I notice that he's on the tablet too much, I say, you know what, let's do something. Let's go walking. He likes kickball. We do a little kickball. We talk, we talk about hey, what's going on. It's important to know what's going on in the school as well, because human trafficking does go into school. To talk about that. If you give them the attention, because if they're if you got to ask yourself, my child on a tablet, internet, what attention are they lacking? Do they not getting enough from you? That's questions you have to find out. Be the parent. You have to advocate and find out so you can know how to go ahead and coordinate that where they don't, where this is not their mom and this is not their guide.
Fantastic. So now I see it also because I've always been talking about how people let social media and the screens just do parenting for them. It's amazing how, I mean, parents now don't do the hard jobs, but then that means that we need to get back. We need to streamline what they look at. We want to be in the business of what they watch and how they go about it. Can you, in a minute, just paint a picture for me? Aside the frequent ads and all of that, what are some of the other tactics that, kind of like capture the minds of these people? Should a parent be watching now?
What besides social media?
Yes, social media and even outside
So
it.
absolutely. So ask this question, especially when you know this person. Why all of a sudden they're more drawn to your kids than they are to you? And I don't mean
Okay.
as like me, I love kids. I don't mean like, oh my God, I love kids. That's a little bit different. But it's different. Like they're trying to try to get to know more of your kids versus going through the parent first. That could be
Okay.
like a sign of that. That okay, why do they keep asking me about my child? Why they keep we talk about the conversation? Okay, yeah, yeah. So how's your kid doing? Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So they're off on that Friday, right? Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very suspicious to me. And then notice who hang around your kids as well. Like, why does individual out of all the 10 kids, why is this one individual eyeing this one little girl? And I'm not talking about the ones who you know and trust and the ones who are there sent by God. I'm not talking about the one who imitate like they are sent by God.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so why they're targeting this one child? Why is this person only drawn to the kids who don't have a father figure or who feel like an
Right.
outcast, who's quiet? And
Mm.
you know who else is another target? I don't call them I don't call them special needs. I said their needs are special. Their needs are special kids. Why? Because they can't communicate. So they're also a target that parents need to be mindful outside of social media. When you see church functions, not even church functions, when you see them out with dinner, be aware of who's watching. When you observe, you'll be surprised how you can pick up on your discernment. Because discernment is discernment. Something's not right. I experienced this with my nephew. I'm like, why does this person keep looking at my nephew? And I don't play about my baby boy. And don't let me go to God on you. It's a wrap. But yeah, so when you got to be sensitive to this, and whether it's in person, whether it's social media, whether it's on
Yeah.
TV, whatever, you have to be aware because when you're vigilant and alert, the devil can't work.
Right, right. Fantastic. I love that. So, I mean, you need to be alert. You need to be in the business of your children. And it's one of the things that parents to do lately. And so they kind of like just leave. I mean, who would want to ask you more questions about your children than yourself? How it is that you're so interested in our children more than ourselves? That's not a very good sign. So it's something that we really need to look at. But let's get on with human trafficking because, starting from kids and now let's get on to human trafficking. Some people think that it's just something that happens in movies, right? It's like they just play themes and all of that after the movie, that's it. Do we have it happening in real time? And have you ever, like touched on cases where people are being abducted or going through some sort of human trafficking?
Absolutely. And also, I recommend this movie. It's called Sound of Freedom. Go
Okay.
check that movie out. It's a true story about how one of the perpetrators do it. And remember, it's not just men that do it. Women are in it too. And unfortunately, I hate to say this, kids are in this unwell.
What?
So the thing about it, yes, the kids are, they train them to do that. Some of the kids, teenagers, it happens more frequently than what people realize. So it's a lot close to home. I'll tell you why, because it'd be your own family members, your own family members. There's actually one young man that we're going to have at our conference where his mother and father will pimp their children out where they got raped by other ministers. They will have like a line outside of there. Some will want the daughter and some will want the son. And that's close to home. And that was from their own parents. Incest, which is not talked about enough. It could be siblings as well who do the human trafficking. We actually say the girl on Clubhouse who was being human trafficked by her uncle, but we were able to save her and stop it in time. It's actually on recorded. And we can actually stop and save time. So it could be your close, it could be your teachers. Teachers do it as well. Doctors, actually they have a system in their database where they send it to pedophiles. They let you know the size of the child's height. They let them know they have a parent. They let them know what they look like. And even sometimes, what does that mean? Oh, and even sometimes they would even like I said, like put like a target on them, a tracker in the teddy bear that they give them. So don't take gifts. Do not take gifts from nobody that you don't know. Even if you don't know, make sure your discernment is up to know to take it or not, because you don't know if there's a tracker. And I forgot to mention that that's another way how to get to your children. Doctor's office be on it, and that's close to home. Your family members, that's close to home. Teachers, that's close to home. Sometimes ministry, and that's close to home. No, it could be anyone. Your Uber driver. There's been a case where the Uber drivers had just tracking this young girl, and they happened to find her. And now they have it on apps. You guys noticed they was trying to hush it down to where they could track, and if you feel unsafe, they don't hear from you, they immediately report the police, so this won't happen. It's a system where pedophiles meet up. Just like you have quotas. All right, we need this amount of quotas for this budget. They have quotas of how to get your children how to make money. All right, guys, we're 10 behind. We need 100 children that we have to take to go ahead and sell to these billionaires and whatnot.
Wow. Is it that these things happen without maybe authorities knowing about it? Because we don't hear a lot of education about it in this part of the world.
You know why? Because authorities be in on it too. That's why.
No way.
I'm going to be honest with you. And I know this from a source, and I'm not just saying this. Things that I'm saying, I witnessed, or I seen a source, or I did my study, because I take this very seriously. This is not entertainment. This is for information and education. So no one won't take you from your destination. So authorities be on it. But when I do so into these platforms that helps with kids with human trafficking, they pay to educate these police officers. But these child molestation symbols that I hope you show that I sent you, some of them I got actually from the Federal Bureau police office.
Yeah, I saw that.
So yeah. So it is on there, but sometimes they be on it. And the thing about it is one of the most money in this world, especially United States, is made off selling children or human trafficking. So in their heads, why would they try to stop that when it's lucrative to them? Unfortunately, it's unacceptable, but it's the truth.
This is unfortunate, I must say. But let's get to the home. How then do we start to prepare their minds, that about these things? These things that are real. But then in the process, you don't scare them off, right? So how do you prepare the mind of a teenager or someone who's younger than that about these things and not scare them off? Real quick.
Right. Just give a demonstration, because it's really sad. Just let them know the facts. Let them know the difference between reality and not reality. Okay. Real and what's not fake. And this is real stuff. With little kids, I love songs. I'm a songwriter. Okay. I could play it in a song. I could do a storytelling. Make it informative, but also make it like it's serious, because African American women, they go missing in human trafficking by 40%. African children go missing by 74%. And in Ghana, it's 75%. In Ghana, it's every 22 minutes. In America, because some of you people are going to be watching America, it's 1.5 minutes. So this is very serious. So you can explain the numbers without them scaring them, but let them know that this is serious, like explain to whatever level they're on. And when you do that and show demonstration and come from a sincere place, with love, and not just like, hey, you better, because you keep scolding them, they're gonna reject it, right? Mm-hmm. I was a young child. I was a perfect young child. I might rebel maybe 1 or 2 times, maybe 3 or 4. But you know, you grow out, you grow out of that. But if you come to them and make it conceivable for the level that they understand and show example of these kids and adults that we're not just saying it, we want to
Right.
make sure that you are safe. And I talk to them, and my goddaughters always say, "I know God, Mama," but you know what? They listen though, so that's the important part.
Great conversation, and this is something that you all want to get glued on. Join us on our socials as My Dominion TV. Like, share, and drop comments, and be a part of this discussion. We're going to go for a quick break now, and then when we get back, this discussion continues. Do stay. All right, so welcome back. We've been having a discussion with Minister Unique Norman, and she's just been pouring her heart out about stuff that happens to children and things that parents have to really target, be concerned about. In the 21st century, people, other people, parent your children for you, and there's no telling what these kids will come out to look like. And so she's been telling us about human trafficking and all the many things that the ordeals that children actually face and the way that we can help it. Unique,
Yes.
great. So tell me, ideally, okay, how does advertisement, okay, affect the mind of a child? So how long should a child have a screen time as compared to adults?
Well, for that, it depends on the child. But in general, what I think is what it should be like no more than like 2 hours a day, if that. Because think about it, that 2 hours, that system has your child. If you think about it, if you really think about it, they already got it for the 2 hours. So they could be learning or doing other stuff that's informative, but they already got their kid for 2 hours. And eventually, if they keep doing it consistently for 2 hours, what happens? It's a habit. I have to do it. I'm addicted. I don't want nothing else. What do you mean I can't be on my tablet? It's kind of like a drug. People think addiction could be only drugs. Addictions can be social media, internet.
Yeah.
Addiction can even be you addicted to drama and gossip. That all falls in line, to be honest with you. So when it comes to that, screen time, I would say a little bit the less is better, besides if they're doing it for educational purpose. Even then, you still want to monitor it so it won't be the norm that they always depend on, social media versus getting the information by studying. Go back to books. Kids still like to read, believe it or not. Go back to books. There's other opportunities to do where they can learn, where they won't just be so affected by 2 hours of media time, because those 2 hours can also train the mindset of a child. Remember, statistics wise says you have up to a child until they're 8 or 9 years old. By the time they're 8 and 9 years old, they're already into their personality and what they're going to be as they get older.
Right. So how then do companies use all these tunes and mascots and all of that to capture the mind of the child? How vulnerable are children when they watch these things?
Very vulnerable, because first of all, they're not experienced. And so they're going to target them. They're going to target them on Snapchat. They could target them on cartoons. So how do they use that? They be like, okay, if I can't get to the parents, I'm gonna get to the kids. For example, that movie coming out is wicked. It's demonic. So what? It's catering to kids so the parents can take them, not knowing they're releasing those spirits to your children. That it's okay to be friends with witches. That's another way on the platform that they could use advertisement to manipulate. It's manipulation. That's what it
Right.
is. You cannot be friends with no witch. And Snapchat, okay. Do you know on Snapchat they use AIs? AIs can also be used to get your kids. I could create an avatar and I could change your voice that makes me sound like a child. And that's another way that I could get to your kids and influence them. Hey, you should come and do this on Snapchat. This is really cool. Oh, that's awesome. You like this lifestyle? What are you located at? Oh, I'm located in Miami. Oh, no way. I'm located in Miami as well. We should come do some business together. That's another way how they can manipulate the situation with kids and little kids with tablet as well. And how do you think these pedophiles know this? Because some of these pedophiles are the ones that are behind social media, who works in social media.
Right. So they're catching the kids even without the kids knowing it. So just kind of like baiting them to love what
Absolutely.
they do. And then they give them the cool factor stuff. And then
Absolutely.
they kind of like love it. And
Fashion. Yep, fashion too. Exactly.
Wow. Tell me the effect of that on their behavior. If there's any behavioral change, should any parent be looking out for these things the moment a child gets into that? What are some of the behavioral
Yes.
changes that we can look out for?
Some of the things could be depression. Why are some of your kids depression? Because it's called bully cyber. What happened is they convince your children to send them like inappropriate pictures. And if they don't send them more, I'm going to threaten you that I'm going to harm you. I'm going to threaten to kidnap you. And it's crazy because actually kids committed suicide because it was cyberbullying. In Kenya, which is Africa, is one of the highest rates of suicide rates with kids because I visit Kenya as well. But that's one of the ways, okay, they're depressed. They're isolated. Why the suddenly they say they have friends with a person they met online? I mean, they haven't met them online. Why suddenly your child saying they have a new friend online? That's a red flag. Why the new friend won't meet the parents? That's another red flag. Why they don't want you to know about the friend? They become more secretive, isolated, kind of pushed off because what happened? The pedophile's job to them is to isolate them and manipulate them to make it think that their parents is after their children. They did a documentary on a pedophile, and the pedophile said one of the things he did to you to lure a child in is to make them think that their parents was after them. That's one of the tools they utilize. It happens years, and they use it to this day. So when you notice like a change, they're a little bit more quiet or even quieter. They don't want to be bothered. They only want to be on their computer. Then you need to go on that computer and see what's wrong. There's a way to get in your kids' business without them knowing, by the way,
Tell me
and to
about
track it
it.
without them knowing. Yeah.
Tell me
So
about it.
there's
I
a
really want to know.
yeah, so if you do, I'm not really sure about the apps that they have in Ghana, unfortunately, but this would be all based off of research. So you could
Okay.
go on your research and you'd be like, hey, I'm trying to think of a I need to track my kid. I know Apple does it where the kids won't be alert. It's an app you download from Apple, like track your kids. And then that's how you could track and see what's going on without them knowing. And they will send you alert if someone if they're messaging a new person. You will actually have those settings on some of those apps. Not all the apps for obvious reason. We know why they're not going to put it on obvious apps. They don't want you to know. They have a certain settings that will let you know that they have a new friend, or you could have it to where they can't accept any new friend. So I advise you, if you guys in Africa, go do your research. It's on there. It's accessible and it's available that you could have it where you could stay connected to your child and they won't even know.
Really interesting. On the top of my mind, I'm thinking kids are attracted to certain kind of products, right? So I'm thinking food, maybe books. Those are the kind of advertisement that they might watch, and then these people might use. What other products, are likely to be used to catch the kids in this manner?
Jingles. I mean, think about it. Who was in charge of music in heaven? Who was in charge of music? And also another terminology in the word music is mute. What
Yeah.
is it is to mute you, to silence you, to only that you hear only certain things and only be drawn to one things. Jingles are catchy. So if I want your kids to do my products, I'm gonna get a catchy songs. I'm gonna get the hottest designer because at the end of the day, we all know this, we all experienced this when we were young. We want to look fly in high school, middle
Right.
school, even elementary. And these kids are different. They want to look fly now in preschool. Like it's just changing. Like everything is just changing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a character or something to draw your kids that I know that they like. So I sent you one of the child molestation symbols that was on Disney as a cartoon character. They're now realizing they're releasing those symbols, the amount of symbols to your kids, but it's also
Right.
to let the pedophiles know that we're just like we go to church. There's a cross. All right, we represent Jesus. You're welcome. Pedophiles since like hitting messages. We welcome pedophiles. So the character was called Zephyr, which was on the show is called Elena. I forgot. I'm sorry, Elena Availor on Disney, but they shut it down once parents started being vocal about the child molestation symbols. They get you with the mascot. With Cecilia, she had the child molestation symbol. The triangle means boy lover. The circle that looks like a six, that looks like a six
Yeah,
upside
like a
down,
girl
that means
lover.
double boy lover. You saw it, right? So it's
Yeah.
so many demonstrations that they use sneak wise to manipulate your kids, but they try to make it hot. Oh, the character Disney, he's friendly. He's not a pedophile. Manipulation.
I see, because I noticed in some of the videos they put it, on the face, more like a face painting, some of the
Bold.
characters. And I think I saw a video where a woman went to buy a toy. It was like a car, but then it had all these symbols on it. And then she was quite alarmed, and then she drew the attention of many people. But should you be a parent that sees this or notice that these things are going around? How do you decode these to your children so that one, they don't turn out being paranoid, two, they're not scared, and then three, they are actually bold enough, confident enough to talk about these things, even to their peers?
Right. Well, first they have to be informed about it, educate yourself. Just like that young lady who said, wait a second, that toy is a child molestation symbol. She wasn't even a Christian. I'm just saying, so it don't matter you're a Christian or not, you need to be vigilant. My
Right.
people perish because of the lack of knowledge. You can't even, she wasn't even saved. So if you're praying or doing what you want to do, if you miss it, that's not an excuse. Someone from the world could catch it. You should be able to catch it. So all you got to do is be informative about it, demonstrate it, and show the teaching. But at the same time, let them know that this is not to bring you fear. You could be alert and not be scared. Just like, for instance, when you walk across the street, what do you teach your children? Look left and right. Do they get scared when you tell them that? No, because you told them calmly, hey, just to get a heads up, because this could happen, because they understood it. If I don't look left and right, I can get hit. If I don't pay attention to what's going on, they could target me. So there's a way to still educate them, but the parents, they have to be open to it as well, to be educated as well. Something you teach them as an early on. When you teach them as an early on, by the time, what is it? Teach your children they want to depart from you. By the time they're older, there's not no fear, there's wisdom.
Great, great. That's really bold. Tell me about your organization. I know that you've been doing this for how long? How long have you been doing this?
What, my company foundation, or just like helping kids out in general?
I see. So what's
Are
the
all.
vision like and where is it going to?
Yes, I've been doing this for a couple years. I have my clothing line advocating for the children for going on a year, or a couple months, I believe, going on a year. Time goes by so fast.
Yeah.
So so the foundation that I put out and started is to go, obviously, international. My products and stuff ship globally, right? It
Okay.
goes to Africa. It could go to Europe. It could go to America. And so what my foundation does, it not only bring advocacy to let, this is my clothing right here, what I created. It does not
And
only
human
bring
trafficking.
advocacy for not only bring advocacy for human trafficking, but it also brings advocacy for kids whose needs are special. I'm actually coming out a couple months where I'm only going to be having clothing line catered to all ages of people whose needs are special, for a special design. But my clothing is for everybody. If you go on my website, I have some in a wheelchair. I have one whose needs are special. So it caters to them first, because I want them to let them know that it's not a disability. It's an ability and a capability for them to be mobility, to have mobility.
Right, right, right. And how often do you get to go to other parts of the world? Because if your merchandise goes to places that probably you haven't gone, they might have not gotten the message.
Oh, I've been to Ghana. I've been to Kenya. I've been to Europe, of course, all aspect of Europe, Germany. They know about it. But what I like about this is that you guys actually gave me the platform to actually spread it to where it can go internationally, versus me have to go to each of the country. Because usually
Countries.
when I do the teaching, when I do the teaching, it's not always pertaining to human trafficking. It's other things as well. It just depends. That's why I don't take engagements. I take assignments. Sometimes assignments are different. Holy Spirit might be like, hey, your target for this is specifically about human trafficking. Okay, your target for this might be specifically about depression, or what people need to know, not what they need to hear, but what they need to know. So all these places, yeah, I've gone to a lot of places. If you go to like uniquenormaninc.org, you will see like the places I've gone to, and it's going to be an expansion. But the mere fact that I'm doing this on Dominion TV, again, I appreciate this, that you're making it aware, because a lot of people don't like to talk about it. And this is definitely one of the starts for me to go ahead and do it more online versus me being there in person. So that's awesome.
Most definitely. Well, our Papa the Archbishop is all about healing the land, healing the nations. And if this is what it's going to take, it's one conversation at a time. And so we're always really grateful for him, his anointing, and how he's guiding and guarding us. Paint a
And his
picture
wife,
for
and
me.
his wife,
Yes, and his
and
wife,
his wife.
Lady Rosa Whittaker Duncan Williams. So paint a picture for me real quick. How this, advocacy has affected families, communities, how you collect feedback. And I'm very sure these are the things that can like give you the edge to move on, get to the next family, get to the next individual. Can you like tell us some of the things that have happened, the impact, some testimonies, or stuff like that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so as I mentioned about the one who saw the Disney thing and no longer her kids don't even have that. And when I speak to the kids and some of the families didn't even know. So the thing about it is, so I did this. This actually was aired on one of my teachings when I was in um the UK. I'm sorry, I can't remember. I know it was African, but I can't remember the what part. My apologies, but I was like teaching and whatnot, and then the Holy Spirit interrupted me and said, "You need to address this." So he gave me a strategy, like he gave Gideon how to do it, because in cultures, in African cultures, it's not mentioned that they were sexually assaulted or raped. So he gave me a strategy how I did it. And then so I didn't force the young man to come up. I knew it was a guy because he showed me the guy, but I act like I didn't know. But I said this person, and I said what I said. If you come up, you're gonna get your deliverance right now. And a young man came up and he was crying, and that's not normal in that culture, and you know that they don't admit stuff like that. But he
Right.
got his breakthrough. Because that's the thing about it is when you tearing down systems and when you come on an assignment, you're gonna break protocol. Well, not protocol, I'm sorry, you're gonna break the traditions of how you should say and what you shouldn't say. He was
Right.
suffering in silence. He was suffering in silence that needs to be broken off of him. So when I prayed and God broke it off of him, he was actually, he was one of the ones who was sexually assaulted by his own family members. And so trauma bonds needs to be broken. The Stockholm syndrome needs to be broken. These are systems that I'm tearing down and that will tear down so it could be exposed and closed. So that's one of the things. That's actually one of my favorite testimony because I actually saw it. I was actually there in this videotape and it was a man, which was uncommon, that he was one of the ones that got his breakthrough and many more to come.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Because that's deliverance right there. And I mean, the moment you deliver one person, you've saved like a number of people that probably you may never reach. And that's a great one. How then do you, I mean, because when you deliver people or you preach the gospel to them at the end of the day, they still go back to their communities. They still have same parents. They still have same siblings. They literally, still live in these environments, right? So
Right.
what would you do? I mean, how do you educate the community, the parents, caregivers, and all of that so that they can give a good support system so that person that you deliver doesn't go back?
Right. Well, they have to get to the root. The problem is that people want to get deliverance without closing portals. That's the problem. You need to find out the root to get your fruit for it to multiply. You have to
Right.
know how to close down these portals so it won't open. Learn how to pray, have a prayer life, study, educate yourself, study outside the Bible, communicate,
Right.
like I said, break the barriers of keeping it hush. Every time you keep it hush, portals keep opening, 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 opening. But that's a problem there. The thing about it is when you do stuff like that, what does it say? And whatever I bound on earth, he bound in heaven. So whatever you do on earth, he's going to allow. So you're going to allow this torture and trauma. Okay, then, because God is a gentleman. But the thing about it is if you let God function, then he will break generational dysfunction. So when you tell them what is the root, it's okay to get counseling. You have to face the root. If not, you're going to repeat it. If you don't complete, you're going to repeat. You have to face it, not displace it. Because when you displace, it's gonna keep coming up. That has
Right.
nothing to do with me. I just obey God and I release what you should do. But then on your end, it's your choice to follow up on it. You know what I mean? Get the counseling
Yeah.
you need. Get the training you need. Find out what it is to get the bottom of it so you can go ahead and close the portal so it won't open. And once we educate them on how do you close portals, how do you pray, how you see what's going on? Are you ready? Because I'm not here to get you hype. I'm here to get you right. And so many times they're so focused on who holla, 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 holla. You got to get past that. There's no deliverance. You can all you want to, but you're not getting no deliverance, and that's why you're back here. Because that's a problem there. You didn't deal with that. He wants you
Right.
to get a breakthrough and get to the root to get through to get to your fruit. Then you can go ahead and shut down those portals and let Satan know you ain't gonna have me like you did in this last season.
Great. Any challenges that kind of like throw you off course sometimes?
Yes, when you go to remember you go to sometimes different cultures, whatever, it's not talked about, so it becomes a little bit challenged. But because
Right.
I'm just bold. I'm parousia. In Greek it means boldness and also means cheerfulness. I'm already trained for this. So the thing about it is, like I said, once I do something and release something, it's on to you. Because if I don't, then God's gonna get me. Because once I do that, I'm released. Sometimes they don't want to listen, and I'm not gonna fight or force anything on you. I'm gonna pray for you and keep it moving. But if you're not going to listen, then that's nothing I can do on my end. But besides just pray, and I'll be like, all right, then that's between you and God. I did my part. And then sometimes you get to them. So sometimes you get to the core. With me, I'm a low tolerance person. So sometimes God be like, all right, you want to listen? All right, I'm leaving. And sometimes God be like, you better get your little 2 pound behind back over there and finish what I said. I'm like, because when you're obedient, he's more lenient. Okay, so fine. All right. So when you're talking to a person who had their guards up, you get to the core of it, and he will show you. And as you speak to that person, you'll be like, oh, okay, I noticed that you like fashion. And next thing you know it, they'll smile and they'll kind of like start warming up to you. They warm it to me in general because I'm just an honest, blunt person. But they warm it to me in general. You talk about fashion. Okay, that's something you want to do. Okay, so how about before you can expand with your business and you want to use it in ministry or business, how about you deal with your hurt first? So because when you deal with your hurt, you won't be releasing inappropriate things. You won't be releasing out of anger. So that's why I even have a t-shirt that says this: listen with your heart and not your hurt. So listen with your heart. And that's how you will able to, it will lift up so many bondage. It will lift up so many trauma. And once we break the obstacles, it's going to be friction. You're going to have people who are hard-headed. If you read the Bible, everybody know that. God bless Jesus. He was a patient young man because I couldn't do what he did. But there has to be a way. Get a strategy of how to break the walls, and he will give you a strategy how to do it. I'll be ready to be like, all right.
Jesus had so much compassion. Sometimes you wonder, I'm like, what kind of God are you? But that's just how he loves, and that's so beautiful. Can I take your last
1 John
word?
4:19. He loved us. We loved him.
I
sorry,
know, right? Oh, okay. So this is it. We're done. I don't know if this convo is ever done because this is really big. This is really huge. Thank you for coming through, Unique Norman. Your heart for children and for correcting the norms is really beautiful. Anyway, let me take your last words and then we can go.
So what I want to do in this, because the Holy Spirit was showing me that some of you parents are so concerned, how can you be there for your children? But as I mentioned before, at first you have to deal with the roots of what happened to you as a child. Some of you guys were brutalized as a child. And the Holy Spirit said this: I promise you, when you get the healing for yourself, you will see the healing and deliverance over your children.
Right.
The thing about it is, don't let someone's ignorance be a hindrance for your deliverance. And when he does that, he said, I could be your sozo. When you look at Luke 7:49, when the woman came to Jesus, she came to her like, look, I need this generational curse broken. I'm coming to you real. I'm not hiding this. I need deliverance. When she came with him for real, when she came to him with fullness, because she got rid of her the foolishness, he said that faith has saved you. In Greek, that means sozo. So he gave her the sozo when he became her soter. Soter means savior in Greek. And also in that, the Holy Spirit will break every trauma bond, every sabotage. Even I hear the word nightmares. Some of you guys even have nightmares of what happened and repeating and whatnot. He's releasing the ones, even the ones who had human trafficking. And also, as we're speaking real quick, I wrote a poem, Declarations, it's not long, that I want to release to the parents and give them courage and in hope. And just remember that when you feel powerless, get connected to the throne. When you get connected to the throne will become your home. And so here's one of the encouragement that I want to do. And it's my poem declaration. It's called Victory and Protection. This is encouragement for the families and the parents. Stand strong, oh parents. The night seems
Norman?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I think that we'd have to put the link or the your website on the screen, so that the parents can actually get there and read more than the poem clamation. Because I actually saw that and I thought that that's really great. And then it will give them
a new one. Yeah, this is a new one. I just wrote for
right. So that they have an opportunity to see your music and the kind of jobs that you do. But we're going to have to go. It's so short, right? When you have great conversation, time is really short. But thank you so much for coming through, Norman. And
absolutely,
we wish you all the best in all your endeavors. And we pray that God would, sort of like open more doors for you. Well, thank you so much. This has been a great discussion about you and your children and their future. And you want to be a part of this conversation always. My name is Precious Biadala, and this has been Wake Up Africa.